of our biggest problems with stormwater is too much volume of rainwater washing off all the impervious surfaces, our roads, our rooftops, our shopping centers, our parking lots, and it gets washed right into the rivers. And so it's so much volume, it's causing flooding in communities like Camden. The reason that rain gardens are so important is they intercept stormwater runoff. Every time it rains and the snow melts in the wintertime and in the spring, every time that rains and snow melts, a certain amount of pollutants wash off the land. One of the big pushbacks that we get with rain gardens is because it looks very natural. It's a naturalized area. So some people might see that as being unkept. You know, I keep my lawn mowed, I keep my hedges trimmed nice and short. I look across the street and I see these wild bushes going crazy, and I think that somebody's fallen down on the job. And so we do get pushback from community members, not only in Camden, but in suburban communities too. But you can still maintain these. You could come in, if you had maintenance crews come in and understand, well, how do I trim a shrub so it maintains healthy? You just don't come in and cut it straight off. But you could come in and trim it so that it looked nice. It doesn't have to look like this wild, unkept thing. But that requires people that understand the plants and understand how to do that sort of thing. And that's a changing field in the environmental protection world. How to maintain rain gardens is becoming, because every town, every city across the country has to manage their stormwater better. So putting in rain gardens is happening not only in Camden, but it's happening in Collingswood, in Cherry Hill, in Haddonfield, in Philadelphia, and San Francisco. So it's a tremendous opportunity for businesses, for small businessmen and women to create these businesses. The plant selection, because plant selection does make a difference, because you are creating an area where it collects water. So obviously cactus aren't going to be the plant that you want to put in a rain garden. So you want to pick plants that hydrologically have the ability to absorb a lot of rainwater and be in wet weather for a while, but also tolerate dry weather. The other thing that we look at with plant selection is something that's interesting to look at even when it's stark, like it is today. When it's not in the springtime and there's wildflowers, black-eyed Susan and echinacea, and everything's blossoming, it's easy to see this is a beautiful spot. But when it's cold and gray like it is today, you'll see some of the plants in here. We have red twig dogwood and other plants that have a little bit of color, some seeds in it, that the seeds are on the shrubs even in the wintertime. So you have a lot of bird activity coming in and grabbing seeds. The value is that it protects water quality of the rest of the watershed. It also absorbs some of the volume and allows some of that volume to infiltrate back into the ground. So the challenge is to capture it, and it's coming from so many different places. They call it death by 1,000 cuts, because each little street that discharges water, or each parking lot, is not a huge deal, but then you multiply that by 100 parking lots and 5,000 rooftops and all these roadways. It's death by 1,000 cuts. So the rain gardens that we're standing in front of right now on 29th Street in Camden, next to Bonita Park, is capturing just a little bit of rainwater, and it's allowing to filter it out and infiltrate it back into the ground, and so it doesn't go into the Bonita Park. Is it going to fix flooding in Camden all over? Of course not. None of them will. It's one Band-Aid on one of those 1,000 cuts, and that's what these rain gardens are doing.